There's probably a lot of people out there a bit confused about heaven. What is heaven? And the only explanation the Bible offers us about heaven is a few lines. It says shit like the streets are paved with gold and the wolf lays down with a lamb. I'm like, is that heaven? It's not my idea of heaven. Who's heaven? Who the fuck? What? I don't care if the wolf lies down with a lamb. What does that mean? The lamb? Is there any grass there? Because if there's no grass there, well, it's not going to be heaven for the lamb, is it? Oh yeah, there's loads of grass there. Okay. Well, what about little lambs? For the wolf to eat. What's the wolf going to eat? If there's no little lambs for it to eat, it will eat grass as well. Really? So everything's eating grass. So there's a lot of grass there then, really. Every animal on the planet that used to eat other animals, we're all going to be eating grass? Yeah, is that how it's going to work? I'm just posing the question. Kind of like, I'm a bit confused about heaven, really, to be fair, people. I mean, God, in your infinite wisdom and your genius, I'm confused. Why couldn't you explain it a little bit more thorough? Well, I mean, I suppose you just leave it all to our imagination then. So heaven is somewhere really cool that's got cool shit there. Oh, okay. I hear you. You know what I think heaven is? I think heaven is sitting in a beautiful little enclosure without any muggles. Most certainly heaven has to be without muggles. No muggles. No muggles. Don't want them in my heaven. No thanks. Nice, soft, succulent, cool green grass. Sun shining on the body. The odd bell clanging in the distance, reminding me that I'm still alive. Birds and squirrels and trees. Newcastle brown. McCoy's flame-grilled steak chips. And hula hoops. That's heaven, people. Here, can you take a photo of this, please? Camera. That's fucking heaven. Because when I'm sitting here, having had my quenched thirst, having been satiated by drinking that, and a little bit stimulated, and my appetite aroused, then I partake in a little bit of salt and fat and spice. Ooh, wow, now we're talking. I'm telling you, we're talking. How wonderful is that? So it satiated all of my needs. Every need I could possibly have at this moment in time were just satiated. That was heaven. That was my heaven. So, if we look at all this stuff in the Bible being metaphor, then heaven's whatever you think it is. It's whatever you would like it to be. You will be aware now of the leaf blower over the wall. Seems like every time I make a video, those idiots over there have got to do that shit. Why do they need to blow off a few crumbs from the path to justify their existence, to justify their wage? Because there's cameras all around, they've got to be deemed to be doing something. So it's kind of like, oh, it's 25 minutes to knock off, there's nothing really to do. Can't just be sitting in the canteen, oh, let's get the leaf blower out. Meh, meh, meh. Look how hard I'm working, camera. Meh, meh, meh. And that's it. It's pathetic. It's not only pathetic, but it's disgusting, it's vile. because of the pollution that's doing, not only to the air, but to the vibration, to the sound. It really is abhorrent. But, you know, they've got to justify their existence, being silly little fucking muggles, and so all they do is trim the grass around these gravestones and blow the fucking leaves off the path, and then the council's happy with them, and they're watching them all the time because they put cameras all around, and so there's never a place where they can go where the camera's not looking at them. You know, the man's always looking at them, and so that's why they do it. They get out something that makes a fucking noise that looks like they're doing something and being constructive. Getting back to heaven. Heaven is a state of mind. And many people, all people I suppose, they have their idea of heaven. If I was to ask Christians out there, you Christians watching my awesome videos, what is heaven? Tell me what it is. Put it in the comments. Write me an email. Tell me what heaven is. What are you going to say? You're going to be able to say nothing except about 4 lines written in the good book. Oh, heaven is paved with gold, and the wolf lies down with the lamb, whatever else. You know, it's so boring and non-meaningful that I can't even remember. And I must have read it like 20 times. It's just like, is that it? Is fucking seriously? No. You know what hell is? This is hell. Experiencing something that is objectionable to spirit and to ego. That's hell. And so, within a few minutes, I've experienced heaven and hell. That's life. That's the polarity of life, people. And we couldn't have one without the other. Because how could one exist without the other? We need to have the opposite for one to exist, don't we? So, if we ever found ourselves in heaven, and for instance, I've got a lifetime's supply of Newcastle Brown and crinkle cut hula hoops, shit like that, and sunshine and soft grass. If I've got a lifetime of that, well, cool, yeah? But then, if a leaf blower starts blowing the debris off these streets paved with gold, I'm going to have something to say about that. Because that's going to be taking me out of my kingdom of God, out of my heaven. So, I'm assuming that there'll be no leaf blowers in heaven. But there has to be crinkle cut crisps. So who's going to be taking care of all the packets? Who's going to be making them? There's going to be some pollution coming from those, isn't there? Or maybe is God just going to be producing that thin air? Okay, cool. Alright. As long as there's no pollution and noise, then you won't be taking me out of my heaven. You see, as soon as we start to apply our little bit of rational thought to all of these silly concepts, we just go out there, don't we? I could ask 1 billion people what their concept of heaven is. And, you know, when I've done this in the past with Christians about certain things, all they can ever do is flick feverishly through all the things they've highlighted. This is this and this is this. And if I wanted to ask them about belief, initially, let's say I asked 30 Christians what belief and faith was. What's the difference? I said, what's the difference between belief and faith? Ooh, now you've got me. Ooh, now you've got me. Of course I've got you. You fucking idiots. And you've just been reading all that shit forever. And people, you know, they'll be like, reading this shit for fucking hours and hours and hours, and then be praying and that. And then I'd ask them what faith was, and they didn't fucking know. I'd say, well what's heaven? Oh, heaven is the streets are paved with gold. And really? Is that it? Is that what heaven is? Think about it, you turds. Is that heaven? The streets are paved with gold. Really? You're ill. You should be put down. You should, because this air that you breathe is far too precious. They should all be put down. They should be killed. Yes. And so when we look back through history and we see certain regimes that did that, I'm like, way to go. You knew where it was at. What would you want members of society hanging around for if they didn't even know those things, if they couldn't even answer those things, when they're so deeply engrossed and embroiled into it and fiddling it with their beads and then when you ask them a few fucking questions, they've got no clue. Is it me? Am I the big evil one? Am I the obnoxious, arrogant idiot? Or am I just pointing out plain facts that the world is full of fools? Which is it? I think I know the answer. And so anyway, Christians, what's heaven? What is heaven? What heaven is going to be your idea of the best possible scenario that you could possibly be in as a human being. And then you say to yourself, well, you're not fucking human anymore, so why do you need all that shit? I just said I want Newcastle Brown and chips and everything, but if I'm in heaven and I'm spirit, well, I'm not going to be able to get any satiation from those. Well, fucking hell, if I'm not going to be able to get any satiation from anything, what's the point in existence? Oh, you're just going to be in the bliss of a spirit in the kingdom of God. No. Send me back down to earth. I want to live some shit. I want to experience some shit. I can't stand my whole fucking existence. I'm in bliss. I'm in heaven. No thanks. Send me back down to earth. I'll make my own fucking mind up what's heaven and hell. Cheers. What do you think about that? Don't you think that's incredible, beautiful, fucking amazing stuff to think about? Who's asking you to think about this shit? Who's ever asked you to think about this shit? Nobody. Just the awake and brave, isn't it? Yeah. And so, obviously, I'm certainly a gift from God to planet Earth. God thinking like, it's a bit boring down there. There's a lot of fucking idiots around. Let me send my son down to just start posing questions like Socrates. You see, the reason why people hated Socrates, because he would ask questions like this. And he would go into the so-called places of preaching, and he would say, so who are you praying to? What are you praying to? What's heaven? What's hell? What is God? What's Jesus? Can you define or any of these things? You know, and no. I'm asking you. You know, what do you know about these things? Do you know anything about? And that's it. And then you go, don't you think you're just fucking idiots, just being indoctrinated by a few fucking scriptures? Don't you think that's more probable? And then they'd, like, of course, want to poison him. Yeah, that's how it was, people. And I love jousting with the fool, because if there's any fools out there, and if there's any fools out there, well, if there's any fools watching my videos, then of course I'm going to be twisting their melon. Nothing more pleasurable than twisting people's melons, if you ask me. That's probably one of the things that I'm going to include in my heaven, that I can twist the fool's melons and get them all out of sorts, all in a tizzy, and get them realising that they don't know fucking nothing. They know fucking nothing, and yet they think they know so much. Wow. And you see, that's what heaven did, that's what the cosmos did. Sent Socrates to all these idiots that thought they knew such a great deal. Turns out they didn't know anything. And so what am I doing? I'm just questioning what you think you know. Turns out you don't know anything either. Turns out none of us know anything. Nothing to be known. It's just some sort of a thing going on here, which we all seem to be a part of. And that's about where it ends. It's about where it begins and where it ends, isn't it, to be fair, people? Yeah. But some of us have certain dispositions whereby they can really enjoy some of it. And I'm like, ooh, fuck, the sun's just come out. Ooh, I'm enjoying myself. How many of you are, you know, stuck in offices and factories? You just don't get this quality time. You gotta ask yourself, what's going on? What's going on? And you think you're working for this and you're working for that. You're working for nothing. You're just wasting your life. If you think you're doing it for something, because you're going to get something, and then when you get that something, it's going to be great. No, it won't. It won't. You got to take life now. Life is now. Don't be thinking that you're investing in your future. You probably won't have one. There's no future. It's all now. Take it now. And if you're living your life doing shit things that you don't want to do, you might look at that. Ooh, I think I'm being a bit Socratean, aren't I? How many of you are doing shit jobs that you know, are shit? They're just shit. And if somebody asked you, what the fuck's your job all about? Oh, well, I just do this and I just do that. That's fucking shit. Yeah, well, I've got to pay for the mortgage and the rent and the food. Oh, really? I think there's another way. There is another way. Ask the awake and brave. He'll tell you another way. You don't have to do any of that shit. Hasn't done it in fucking years. Anyway, I suppose I've insulted you enough for one day now, so I've got other things to do with my blissful life, and so I suppose I'm just gonna take my shirt off again and meditate and enter into heaven one more time.